Well, welcome back to, or maybe for the first time, to the Refuge's Mental Health Monday. I'm Kathy Escobar and with the Refuge, and I'm here with my friend Joe Rainey from the Refuge and also Mindful Member Care. And we have been hosting these conversations every Monday since March and the beginning of COVID-19. The things that happen here are specific, kind of we're trying to provide tools and support and strengthening and sustaining for this hard thing that we're doing. But at the same time, all of it really can just apply to the stressors of life. And so we are really happy today to have our friend Reb Duke with us. I've known Reb for a long time, I think since the Life of the Refuge, probably pretty close to that, which is 14 years. And she is an amazing pastor and person of presence and nurturer of healing and transformation in people's lives in a really important way. And she's also a therapist in private practice. And so we're really grateful to have her voice here today and her wisdom to just help us kind of keep getting what we need.
Yeah, super excited to have this time with you, Reb. And just a reminder that we have the discussion questions in the show notes on the podcast or on the description underneath the YouTube link. And so if you have a chance to kind of take in what Reb shares with us, but then also process it later, that is the ideal. So we're excited, and take it away, friend.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. It's always a privilege, a great privilege to be asked to speak and to share any little nugget of wisdom that I might have. And today I really want to focus on basics. I feel like some amazing things have been covered in this about trauma and grief and body work. And I found myself thinking about what would I bring to the table today, and what has been helping me personally, and what I've been doing with a lot of my clients right now is just basics. So it made me think about maybe you've heard of this, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I don't think this has been mentioned yet, but if it has, it'll be a little brief reminder. So basically, this is just one theory that was developed a long time ago that talks about just the way that we function in terms of getting our needs met. And so he has it designed like a pyramid. And so basically, really simply, it's like our basic needs are at the bottom, and we have to have these needs met before we can kind of get to these like higher level needs. And so I want to walk through just a little bit of what those needs are, because I think it's really applicable to what we're all going through right now with this COVID mess. So at the very bottom of the pyramid, there is just the physiological needs. This is our need for food, water, shelter, just the basic physiological needs. And so we have to have those needs met. This is the premise of the theory, but is that we have to have those needs met before we can focus on these other like more complex needs. And so for right now, some of that might be threatened for a lot of us. A lot of us are out of work. A lot of us are unhoused. A lot of us are just not sure about, everybody's stocking up on food, and are we going to have enough? And are we going to have enough toilet paper? That's, we could probably put that in that basic physiological need too. But just there's this fear and there's this like unknown for a lot of us right now about, are we going to be able to meet those needs? And so part of why I wanted to bring that up today is, and I'll keep talking about the other needs, but is that we're really focused on these bottom needs right now. All of us are, no matter where you are. And some of us have more flexibility right now with finances and more like security, but generally like all of us are kind of questioning some of these lower order needs. And so the next one up from that is also very applicable right now, which is our need for safety and just our need for security and safety, to know that we're okay, to know that we're safe. Well, right now, that is one of the biggest things that's threatened, right? We don't know if we're safe. We're wearing masks out in public, and we're washing our hands 25 times a day. And we're not sure if we have the virus, if we're spreading the virus, if we're, if we have a little sore throat one morning, we're like, ooh. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a sore throat once or twice from like allergies probably. And I automatically think like, who have I seen and what have I done? And like, oh no, so that's a major, like very basic need that has been threatened for all of us right now. And then if you go up from there, these are also applicable right now, is social needs, right? So we have a need to be connected. Even the most introverted of us, which all my friends and clients who are introverts are doing a little bit better with this than my extroverted friends and clients, but still, even the most introverted of us, we need connection. We need to be with other people. We need to talk to other people. We need to feel like we belong to a group of people. And so that's being threatened right now by social distancing. We have to keep our distance. We have to, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you walk on the street, I never would avoid someone, but now we walk, around so we don't get too close, and it's out of respect and love and like not wanting to spread the virus, but also it just feels so weird, right? It's just awful to have to strategically avoid people. And so awful too when you get together with your friends, whether it be over Zoom or if you're in a park and you're 6 feet apart and all that stuff that we're doing right now, that you can't hug people and you can't connect in that way. And it's just hard right now. And those are basic needs that we just are not able to meet right now in ways that we have been before the pandemic hit. So those are the basic ones. And so those are the ones I'm really like focused on today in terms of just wanting you to hear that those are the basic needs. Okay. I'm going to touch on the next ones, but like most of us are here right now. We're in this lower level of functioning. And so, it's just not the best time to be like trying to achieve your full potential or like trying to accomplish your 10-year plan, or whatever it is that like, and maybe you're feeling kind of defeated. Like there's definitely days where I just don't get a lot done. You know what I mean? Like I'm just kind of dragging, or I try and it's just isn't working well. And I feel kind of like blah about things. And it's just so normal right now to be feeling that way, because we're on this lower level of being able to just process our basic needs. So when you go up from there, you then have what he calls esteem needs, which is just the need to feel loved and to feel appreciated, to be seen by others and validated. And this is hard right now because we can't really do that for each other. Like it's hard to do it for yourself, but then even like we're also focused on, are we going to be able to meet these basic needs for ourselves? We're not doing a lot of outward, like loving people, encouraging people, supporting people, because we're just not there. And so that can be a really hard need to get met right now. But one thing I do want to encourage you with is like, if you do feel like you're functioning there, or maybe during the 1 hour of a day where you feel that way, or one day of the week that you feel that way, is to take advantage of that energy that you have and the privilege that you have to feel like those basic needs are met. And so what could you do with that energy? Like maybe you could encourage a family member or a friend, or maybe you could just check in on someone that that might be struggling, or maybe you make a sign with your kids to go like put at the local hospital that says thank you so much, or to the grocery store workers, like just ways that you might be able to like add a little bit of that positive energy to the world. But also, if you can't do that right now, like you're good. You know what I mean? Like just focus on what you got to do right now as far as just the basic stuff, like maybe it's just that you need to be sure you're getting enough sleep, or maybe that you're not sleeping all day, or, maybe see if you could eat a vegetable today. Like, just one little thing. I'm not talking about a life change. Like, just like maybe you go for a walk around the block, just like something, drink a glass of water. Like, I don't know about you, but I find some days I'm not even drinking enough water. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this is basic needs. I have a headache. It's like, oh, right, water. Simple fix there. So then if you go to the highest part of the pyramid is basically like the need that we have for self-actualization, which just means like being our best self, or like being really creative. Like maybe we're offering something to the world, or we're creating something new, or we're at our optimal, most of us have felt it. It's like where you're like, your brain's going, you're just right. That's not happening right now for like 99.9% of us. Like we're not there. We're not feeling like our best selves. We're not like thriving, like it's real. Even if we have all those needs met, even those of us who are operating with a ton of privilege, like it's still hard. Right. And our friends who are definitely with less privilege are struggling, and have always been struggling in some ways. And this has been an interesting thing with some of my clients that I've discovered, and some of my friends who are exiting homelessness and that sort of thing, is that in some ways they're pretty equipped because they've been used to functioning in this of like meeting survival needs, and there's a strength there. And so maybe if that's you today, like take a moment and be grateful for your resilience, because that is something that you have that is beautiful and is awesome. And I hate the way that you've had to develop that, for sure. But what a beautiful thing that you like have the solidarity. That's another thing I've heard from some of my clients, especially some of my clients who really struggle with OCD or PTSD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or post-traumatic stress disorder. They're kind of like, oh, this is, everybody knows what it feels like to be me right now. You know, there's this solidarity piece. And so that's been a really interesting thing. And so maybe in some ways, I just want to validate that, like, whatever your experience is right now is your experience, and it matters and it's valid. And so if part of what I'm saying today doesn't resonate with you at all, no problem. And if part of it does, great. But whatever experience it is that you're having, it matters. And it's hard in its own way, and it's beautiful in its own way. But yeah, just wanted to like normalize and kind of remind all of us, including myself, that like, this is really hard. And it's really hard to feel really good about life right now. It's hard to feel really awesome about ourselves right now. But just want you to know that like, you're not alone. I told Kathy, even when she asked me to do this, I was like, I feel like I'm just floundering with all of us. And so I want you to know that, like, I might look kind of put together. I, took a shower this morning and put on makeup for this video, first time I've done this all week probably, but I want you to know that I might look put together, but like, this is hard. I feel like I'm floundering. I feel like every day I'm just trying to do my best to show up, to do the best work I can with my clients, and to eat 3 meals and, drink 8 glasses of water and go to bed. So yeah, I just want you to know that you're not alone in whatever you're experiencing. And I hope that thinking about those needs and like the way that those build upon each other might help you give yourself a little bit of grace, because I don't know about you, but like some days I just feel like poop. I just feel like I'm not contributing. I'm not loving people as well as I usually do. And I'm not, whatever. And I can beat myself up. And we just don't need to do that right now, really ever. But like, especially now, because it's just hard. Things are really hard right now. And we're going to make it, we're going to make it. But also it's like, how can we hold both? That like, this is really hard and we're going to try, this is really hard and I'm going to eat some broccoli. Like, this is really hard and I'm going to, send a nice word to a friend. So that's one thought. And then I just kind of put together a couple other like random thoughts that when I've thought about what has it looked like to be with my clients right now, what has it looked like to be with myself right now and my friends. So a couple of other thoughts just in general with mental health is it's really normal to feel overwhelmed right now. And so I want to encourage you, and this is what I'm encouraging myself and my clients to do as well, but to try and embrace like riding the wave, right? So I don't know about you, but I feel like my feelings kind of come in waves. It's like I'm feeling good for a couple hours, and then it's like I tank, and then it's like good, and then I'm not so good. And so my encouragement is to ride that wave. Like, it'd be easy to kind of be like, oh, I only ever want to feel good. I only ever want to feel good. Or like, I'm going to feel bad forever. I'm never, ever, ever going to feel good again. But to know that feelings are not forever. And so how can we just kind of begin to go, okay, I don't feel so good right now. Oh, I do feel good right now. Okay, this is okay. Like, I can ride this wave. I can surf this wave. Like, I can just relax and lay down on my paddleboard on this wave. Like, whatever it is that helps you kind of visualize that. Like, we're going to ride the wave, but I think we create a little bit of hardship for ourselves when we like resist everything that comes, like, or even resist the good, because it's like, now what, I'm going to tank or something like that. But just encouraging you to ride that wave of the feelings as they come and go. Another just helpful reminder is that part of what I'm experiencing right now with my clients and with myself is that what we were already experiencing with ourselves and our relationships before the pandemic is still here, and it's often escalated right now. And so I just want you to know that that's really normal. So anything, whether you are going through some depression or some grief, or whether you're dealing with anxiety, or whether your marriage is having trouble, or you're lonely, like whatever it is that was there before is still there. It just right now can feel a little heightened because now on top of that, we have this pandemic. And so I just want you to know that you're not alone in that, like that all of us are feeling that. I've had a lot of people start therapy in the middle of this pandemic because it's like, oh, I already was doing this thing. And now it's like, whoa, this is really intense because now we're also dealing with a global pandemic. And so just know that like, maybe it's a good time to reach out to a friend, or maybe it is a good time to like take action on that. Or maybe it's just time to go, okay, I know I'm going to be okay. This is really hard. It was hard before and now it feels harder, but at least I know that that makes sense. And so like, I'm going to do what I need to do with it for now. No matter what that is, if it's going for a run, or if it's going and laying on the grass, or if it's talking to a therapist, or calling up a friend, finding ways to manage what it is that you're going through, and just continuing to give yourself tons of grace for just like, yeah, this was hard before and it's even harder now. And so just know that you're going to make it. And it's like, it's happening for all of us. Whatever was there is escalated. Another thing, yeah, that I just can't express enough, and I've already said it a couple of times, is just tons and tons and tons of gentleness. Just gentleness with yourself. Like, it's just easy to be hard on ourselves, and it's easy to like, I don't know, beat ourselves up, or, feel crummy about feeling crummy, or whatever it is. And just like, I want to encourage you that whatever it looks like for you, to be really gentle with yourself, just to allow yourself to feel your feelings, and to just be like, okay, this sucks, but all right, like, oh, maybe I give myself a hug right now, or maybe I go do what Lauren suggested last week and go shake it out, or do something like to get it out, but also like just holding yourself in it, and holding your spirit and your heart, and going like, yeah, this is hard, and I'm going to be okay. And also this is really hard. And then a couple other things you've already heard a million times, and you'll hear it from every therapist you ever talk to, is just two basic things that are so simple and yet sometimes really hard for us to get ourselves to do, but deep breathing and mindfulness. And you'll hear every therapist talk about mindfulness, but deep breathing is just the most, there's been a lot of talks on here about the body, and that was one of my first thoughts, and didn't focus on that because there's been such amazing work on that here already. But just knowing the strong connection between your body and your psyche and your spirit. And so it's one of the simplest, most effective ways, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling down, like to just slow it down and take a few really deep breaths. I mean, literally for 15 seconds, just a few slow, deep breaths. And it's funny how much we don't do that. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I check in with myself and I realize I've been breathing this shallow all day. Like, I'm just like, all day long, like not even ever kind of letting my breath go all the way down through my lungs. So maybe you just take a few moments to breathe in really deep. And then when it comes to mindfulness, that can be a kind of a buzzword, which mindfulness really just means being present in the present moment. That's the simplest form of mindfulness, and being aware that you're present in the present moment. It's kind of redundant, but you get the gist. And so that could be as simple as, for me, I noticed some triggers. It's like this morning I heard a bird chirping, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. Like, and I just sat for a moment and just listened to the bird chirping, and it was really wonderful and peaceful. And it took me 10 seconds or less, but it was just a nice way to be rooted in what is happening right now, instead of thinking about all the things I'm going to talk about for this talk, or what I'm going to do today, or what I'm, or how I'm going to be okay today, or whatever it is. Just to focus on, oh, wow, that's really beautiful. Or how does the sun feel on my skin right now? Or what does the air feel like? What does my body feel like? Just finding ways to root yourself in the present moment can be so helpful, especially when you're struggling with anxiety and depression, which is all of us right now are pretty much operating at some low level of, if we weren't already, like depression or anxiety. And so just that can be super helpful, and so simple and so attainable. And you don't have to have a college degree to do that. Like, so simple. And it's funny because it's hard for me to even get myself to do it sometimes, but I want to encourage you to maybe just place that nugget in your brain. And when you notice something, just let it pull you into that present moment. It's just amazing how much it can calm us and make us feel like, oh, the bird is chirping, I think I'm going to be okay, kind of thing. Another encouragement I would say is just take breaks from the news, take breaks from screens. You know, our life is so this right now. We're all on a screen right now, or we're listening on a device or something, but take breaks, you know, whether it's like an hour break during your day or whether it's a day of the weekend that you just unplug and turn it all off. I think that can be really helpful. That's been really helpful for me when I've been able to do it. It's also a very simple thing that sometimes I find really difficult to get myself to do. So lots of grace in that as well. But if you can give yourself even 15 minutes, like I'm not going to pick up my phone for the next 15 minutes, or I'm not going to schedule 10 Zoom calls today, like maybe just 2, you know. That's one thing I've definitely had to learn personally, is just how many Zoom calls I was scheduling during the week, you know, because I would be online with my clients during the day and then I'm trying to connect with my friends at night. And sometimes it was just too much. And this, I mean, I don't know if this is the right word, but like Zoom fatigue or like technology fatigue, like, I don't know the science behind it, but I know it's real from my own personal experience and from my clients and my friends, that this is real. This is hard. I'm so grateful that we have this because it allows us to connect, but also it's just hard and it's different, and it's not like being in the room with someone. So maybe give yourself permission to take some breaks from that as well. I think that's most of what I had. I did also just want to end on kind of a positive note, and just that, like, and I have to tell myself this every day, but like, we're going to make it. This is hard and it's awful. And sure, there's some gifts in it for sure, but also like, this is really hard and we are adaptable. Like that is one thing. I mean, if you look at human beings across the world and across history, like we have lived through so many things. We have adapted. We can live in the jungle and we can live in the urban jungle, the concrete jungle. You know, we are so adaptable and we are going to make it through this. And I love what Ramon said a couple of weeks ago of like, we were created for this. Like we know how to respond to stress, and this is stress, but like, we can do this. We're made for this. And so, you know, I give myself that pep talk like at least once every couple of days. And like, maybe that's what you need today too, is just to hear that, like, we're going to make this, we're going to make it through. So it's my encouragement to you today. And thanks so much for the opportunity to speak into your life.
Thank you so much, Reb. That was so good. Yeah, just like take a deep breath, let all that soak in. Reminders to just simplify, to go back to what's the basics, you know, like that's a really good reminder for me. Just eating some broccoli. I appreciated that a lot because, yeah, I kind of crashed this week a little bit because I've been like operating on adrenaline mode because I'm on different crisis teams for the COVID stuff, and it seems like things are kind of equalizing a little bit. And so without all that adrenaline, this week I was just like, oh, like I just was like, I finally understand this Groundhog Day thing everybody's been talking about. And it's just, yeah, but just so for me, it's been really, that's a really helpful word today of just like, go back to like, yeah, rest, shelter, water, those basic things that, to nurture and take care of myself. Yeah, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I agree. And for some reason, it's the very first time I've ever thought this, but when you shared it, this crossed my mind, is that we've sort of got the wear a mask, we've got distance from people, we've got wash our hands, and that we need to add a couple more. We need to add breathe. Just notice your feet on the ground and take some deep breaths. Maybe, you know, drink a glass of water, and for sure, just offer yourself some self-compassion in this moment, whatever the moment is, because simple things are hard now. I don't go to the store very often, but the couple times I've had to go, it's really agitating. Mm-hmm. It's so hard. And a simple thing that now is complicated. And if I did wash my hands and I did wear a mask and I did keep distance, but I didn't notice my breath. Yeah. And I didn't allow room for some gentleness in that moment. And that would have helped me. So let's add those basics to some of these core things so that they maybe become more natural and help us sustain this really hard thing over a long, long story. So thank you. It's always so fun to be together. I wish we could be together in real life, but I agree with you. This is better than nothing. Zoom fatigue is real, scientific, for lots of reasons. And that has been really helpful to me to remember, but it is a second best. We couldn't do this without this technology. And we really appreciate everybody who take some time to listen. We're putting this out to the world on YouTube and also on a podcast form. So I think that that's on Anchor and Spotify. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, a couple other ones.
Yeah, so you can just pop this in when you're walking, when you're by yourself, when you are taking that break, to just do what you can to get some strength to keep lasting. So hang in there.
I think what you're saying, Kath, about just maybe the little phrase, like, it's okay that this is hard. Like having that mantra, and like with the hug, or even if you're walking through the store and you're just like, or, just don't want to have to do all this stuff, or, whatever it is, but just, it's okay that this is hard. It's okay. Just giving ourselves grace to like, let it be okay. So
I love that. So let's end on that. It's okay that this is hard. Yeah. Have a good week.
All right. Thanks, friends.